Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat here on Metro TV. I am Desmond Okrekudan. So now the headlines. One killed as the opposition National Democratic Congress Savannah Regional Secretary escapes robbery attack along the Damongo Sola Fufusu Road in the Savannah region. Up north, residents in the Timpani district of the Upper East region express worry over the ongoing road construction works on the Bugaripusiga Road. And in sports, Tyson Fury emerged unscathed with a stunning knockout win over Dillian White in what the Gypsy King said would be his final bout. And in news from elsewhere, dozens die after explosion at illegal refinery in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us. We are live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. Now to our first story, and residents in the Timpani district of the Upper East region have expressed worry over the ongoing construction works on the Bugaripusiga Road. According to them, the contractor working on the Bugaripusiga Bridge has suddenly abandoned the project. Francis Dagban has the details of the following report.
The road users describe the Bugaripusiga Bridge as a death trap, adding the situation is dire during downpours. According to them, the bridge was inaccessible during the rainy season last year, cutting off several communities in the area. The entire 6-kilometer stretch has also been abandoned since the contract was awarded in 2019, a phenomenon motorists and other road users say could gravely affect the transportation business in a peak of downpours this year. Mohammed Hamidu laments the stalled road project in the district, especially the 20-kilometer Bugri Corner Basyonde Road, Timpani Gabiri, Zambala Road, and the Bugaripusiga Road are having a toll on the economic activities in the area.
When we are going to Pusiga, we have to pass through Goku so that we can reach, or we pass through Bachone and pass to Vidana. So it will make our work difficult, and then it gets spoiling our work.
Meanwhile, the district chief executive of Timpani, Isaka Anabida, earlier expressed his dissatisfaction over the abandoning of the road project.
The government under the presidency of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo has awarded the White Johnson Timpani to Warianga Road, which is ongoing. But after the election, it's difficult for us to get the contractor back to site. We have the Zambala Gom Kolburi Road. That contractor has promised that he's paid and he will be back on site next 2 weeks.
Meanwhile, several attempts by our correspondent to ascertain the rationale behind the snail-pace construction of the Bugaripusiga Bridge by the contractor have proven futile.
The residents of Sorgo in the northern region are appealing for more educational infrastructure to make teaching and learning conducive for pupils. Their plea comes after the NP for Sagnarugu constituency ABF Hussaini constructed and handed over a 3-unit classroom block to members of the Sorgo community.
Pupils of the school have for years been studying under trees. The school, located in Sorgo, a community in the Sagnarugu municipality of the northern region, lacks basic infrastructure to make teaching and learning conducive. Responding to the pleas of the people of the area, Member of Parliament for Sagnarugu, Alhaji Abf Hussaini, constructed and handed over a 3-unit classroom block to the community. During the handing over ceremony, the MP promised to do more to improve teaching and learning. in the constituency.
If you can get feathers to blow from the tortoise, I don't know what to do when you get a foul. So it is clear that by the grace of Almighty Allah, His Excellency President Mama, when he comes, the NDC is known for its track record of development. So there's no doubt that if you can do this in opposition, in government, you can imagine what is coming. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the sky is the limit when we come back. I'm not saying if not, but when we come back to power in 2025, January 7th, with His Excellency President Dramani Mahama as the president of this republic.
The school is the fourth to be commissioned by the MP since 2016.
It is a 3-classroom block built under my auspices as Member of Parliament for the good people of the Sorogu community. It's taken us quite about a year and some few months to do it, and I'm sure you can recognize that being in opposition. If I'm in opposition, this is my fourth school we have inaugurated since we went into opposition.
On his part, Deputy Municipal Director of Education in Sangnarugu, Abubakar Ayamba, thanked the Member of Parliament for the project and called on teachers and community leaders to maintain the facility.
As you are aware, teaching and learning can only be effective if there is an infrastructure. And the infrastructure that he has provided is something that will improve teaching and learning. I therefore stand here on behalf of the Sangnarugu Education Directorate to express our profound gratitude to the Honorable.
And the Savannah Regional Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, Salisu Awebe, on Saturday, April 23, escaped an armed robbery attack along the Damongo-Sola Fufusu Road while he was en route to Tamale.
Incident occurred about 3 kilometers to Fufuso near Janikura in the central Gunja district. The police shot and killed one of the robbers with the help of some Fufuso Community Junction members. The secretary and his team escaped the robbery incident unhurt. A pump-action gun was retrieved from the killed robber. Police are yet to identify the armed robber whose accomplices are on the run. The NDC secretary and his entourage were returning from a handing over ceremony of the Damango Nursing Training College wing of the Tertiary Education Institution Network 10 in Damango when the incident happened.
Now let's get some more details on this as we have our correspondent Gideon Akilu on Zoom. Hello Gideon, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What have you gathered so far from the police about this incident?
Thank you very much. In fact, I have spoken with the police, and the body of the suspected armed robber has been handed over to the West Gonja Catholic Hospital. And like you rightly said, yesterday, Honorable Salisu Diaworobe, he is the Savannah Regional Secretary to the NDC, after returning to Tamale from the Tain handing over in Damango. He was attacked by armed robbers yesterday around or between the hours of 7:40 and 8 o'clock p.m. He was going. After speaking with him, he was going and met the armed robbers on the way, who has already stopped a certain track. Yesterday was the market day of Damango, and so the market women were returning. And then the armed robbers stopped them between Junction and Damango Fuso Junction, and then a village called Janikra, which is some few miles away to Junction. And so they stopped them, and whilst robbing, he also got to the scene. But when the armed robbers stopped him, some motorists came and passed by, but the armed robbers couldn't stop them. So it was the motorists rather that went and informed the police in Junction, and they had to rush to the scene, and with the support of the community members of Janikra and then the Fufuso Junction, they were able to, chase the armed robbers. And when they got to the scene, there were about 3 armed robbers. So the 2 were able to abscond, but in an exchange, in a gunfire exchange, the police were able to shoot one of the robbers and retrieve a pump action gun from him.
How's
so
the secretary
that's
faring
what
now?
This morning the body was brought.
Hello, Gideon. Yeah,
Yes.
I am asking that. How's the secretary faring, Mr. Biawobe?
Yes, currently Mr. Biarobi is very fine. He was not attacked, he was stopped.
Okay.
So whilst the robbers were attacking the other vehicle that they have stopped, there were some other market people that were also coming. So Biarobi didn't even get down from his car. He was still in his car whilst the other robber was standing on him. They were waiting to finish robbing the first vehicle that they have stopped. But the motorist came and passed by and went and reported the case. So whilst they were still waiting to rob Biawobi, the police and the community members arrived. And that resulted to the running of the armed robbers. So the armed robbers ran into the bush, and the one wielding the gun decided to fire back at the police. And that was how, the exchange of the gunfire happened, and he was shot dead.
I also want to know if that stretch is, usually you have things like that happening on that particular stretch.
Yes, for some period right now, we have not heard of any robbery case within that stretch. But during the time when the road was a rough road, there were a lot of robbery cases that happened at that place. So for a very long time now, we have not had any incidents of robbery. But so this is the first robbery after the construction of the road since 2012, 2013, thereabout. And so it's actually a surprise to a lot of it. And the interesting thing is that the police are just some few meters away from the robbery scene. The police are between Janikra and Fufuso Junction, which is about like 5 kilometers, 5 kilometers away from each other. And so the police is just some few meters away from the robbers. And so it was a surprise to a lot of people that armed robbers could, block the road and then rob people at that point.
And on that stretch, is it really dark on that stretch, or there are street lights, on that particular Damongo stretch?
No, there are no street lights. The road is actually very dark because at that point there's no community between apart from when you bypass Janikra, you would walk like about 5 kilometers before you meet the next village, which is the Fufuso Junction. And so the place is actually very dark and very curvy. So when you are moving, you will not see what is next. And what the armed robbers did was that they kept some logs across the road. And so nobody could pass. So no vehicle could pass. But the motorists were brave enough to hit the logs and then jump over it before they were able to cross. But they were able to, the armed robbers rather were able to stop every vehicle that was moving at them. So when they stopped Biawobi's car, there were about 2 Sion buses that were also carrying market men and women, after the Damongo market.
All right, Gideon, finally, I want to know if security has been beefed on that particular stretch after this incident occurred.
Yes, I think after the incident, the Savannah Regional Police Command has dispatched police to patrol that stretch. And, as I mentioned earlier, there's already a barrier immediately after Janikra. And so everything is calm. People are traveling to Tamale and back, and other places and back, and I think that security is very tight at that particular stretch. But the other accomplices that are currently on the run have not been, the police said they are still investigating the matter and they are still searching for those people. But for the dead suspect, he has been brought to Damongo this morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Gideon, for the updates there. So that was Gideon Akilu, our Savannah regional correspondent, giving us some more details on that particular incident. Now let's move on to some other stories. The SRC president of the Accra College of Education says the trainees are completely against the scrapping of the allowances. In an interview, Edward Che Jamra justified the need for the allowances, saying theirs is a specialized form of training and that the amount given to them by the government, although inadequate, is used to cater for the educational needs.
The teacher trainee allowance policy was introduced in the 1960s by Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to serve as an incentive to get more people into the teaching profession. It was reversed in the early 1970s but had to be reinstated in the 1980s due to mass exit of Ghanaian teachers to Nigeria. In 2014, the NDC government under John Dramani Mahama abolished the policy and replaced it with a student loan and feeding grant policy. This move caused uproar on the student front. The NPP won the 2016 general elections, partly hinged on a campaign to restore the teacher training allowances, a promise which was fulfilled. In the 2017 budget, a provision of 103 million Ghana cedis was made for the payment of allowances to all trainees in more than 40 public colleges of education. Even then, there were calls for the Ministry of Education and government to consider scrapping teacher trainee allowance and channel funds into improving working conditions of teachers in rural areas. Now, given the current economic challenges, government has been unable to pay the trainees for 7 months. Each trainee is entitled to 400 cedis per month. Half of it goes to the school for their feeding. With its inability to fulfill its side of the bargain, the students say they are frustrated.
Every teacher trainee was having this in mind before coming, that I'm going to get a place to sleep, I'm going to be given food, I'm going to be given allowances. So if these things are not coming, students are actually stranded. We are stranded because you don't know where to get money from, because you calculated all this before coming to college. This amount of money that I'm supposed to get from the government, I could have saved them to buy my books and do other things. I've stopped my job, I've stopped everything, and I'm in school just studying so that government will post me to somewhere in a village, of which, because of this commitment, I have to go. But if the government is not paying these allowances, not giving me food, then I don't know how I'm going to survive on campus, because I'm not working now.
A lot of people dependent on the allowance in paying of their school fees. And up to date, 7 months, we've not received anything from the government. If you don't pay the fees, they do sack. Even as I'm talking to you, we are in a situation whereby if you don't pay your fees, you will not be associated to a bed.
For me, I see it to be little, because for 200 a month, I buy bundle from it, I buy books from it, and other things.
Despite increasing costs on the public purse, they are against the scrapping of the allowances.
I will challenge anyone who goes for the total cancellation of this allowances system, because we are in the tertiary system for now. The reason being that we are trainees, we are purposely trained for a specific task. And training us for a specific task, there should be more attention for us, because you are training us to perform a specific job. For we, the trainees, they are training us to go out there, to go to the villages, impact into them. That is incumbent on us. That's why they are training us and investing in us. So if they are preparing us for what? For the children out there who are coming, they should at least motivate us to do the job well. So if they are to eliminate this motivation, which it has been a tradition to us, it's like your mother being with you and now your mother is dead. How will you be? Although you can leave, but it will be like something profitable has been, you've lost something. And that's why I'm saying maybe if they should eliminate allowances from the system of teacher trainees, we are going to survive a lot.
They are therefore calling on the authorities to pay them soon.
You're still watching Newsbeat here on Metro Television. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll do some more stories. Please stay. Welcome back for the break. Thanks for staying with us. Now to some of the stories and statistics from the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate reveals that currently only 30% of the target population in the region are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. To ramp up vaccination in the region, the Directorate is undertaking a second round of the national COVID-19 vaccination exercise in all 43 districts with a target to administer about 400,000 vaccine doses.
For 3 weeks now, the Ashanti region has recorded no new cases of COVID-19 and has no active case. Given an update on the COVID-19 situation in Kumasi, the Regional Director of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkran, said the fight against COVID-19 has been a long haul and Ghanaians need to sustain the gains and press on for elimination.
To sustain the gains, we need to continue with the vaccination until we've reached 70% of our population with COVID-19 vaccine, fully vaccinated. We can't say that we've achieved that herd immunity that we need to control the infection. As at now in Ashanti region, our coverage is 30%. Unless we achieve 70% coverage of the population, we can never say that the vaccination we're giving is adequate.
Dr. Tinkran cautioned that although the wearing of nose mask is currently not mandatory, it has not been abolished, and encouraged the public to exercise good judgment and observe the safety protocols, especially in situations where risk of disease transmission is significant.
We've done very well, but the fight is not over. Despite the fact that we've lowered the restrictions, COVID-19 is still around. So we shouldn't have impression that COVID-19 is over. COVID-19 is not over.
Now, relatives of the Sisalo West NPP Nasarawa coordinator say they want justice. This was after he was allegedly attacked by machete-wielding men in Golu in the Upper West region. The attack, which resulted in serious injuries to the victim, is allegedly linked to the impending internal elections of the NPP later this month.
The impending constituency elections of the new Patriotic Party has heightened the political temperature across the Upper West region, particularly the Sisalo West constituency. On Monday evening, the NPP Nasarawa coordinator for the area, Idrisu Walaika, was allegedly hanged with cutlasses by a group of party youth numbering about 10. The attack, which occurred at the suburb known as Hospital Junction in Golu, left the victim with serious injuries to the head and his hands, with the right hand almost chopped off. The victim was said to have been found unconscious around midnight by a passerby who took him to the Golu Government Hospital for treatment, but was subsequently transferred to the War Regional Hospital due to the severity of the injuries. Spokesperson of the family of the victim, Zakaria Wintima Jr., is appealing to the Inspector General of Police to take over the investigations in order to avoid interference.
I know that the regional commander would have interest in the case, but for the sake that there are a lot of hands that are coming in, especially the regional minister and the regional chairman, we plead that the IGP should take this matter and investigate and come up with a final solution for us.
The family members are therefore demanding justice.
Now, the family of slain 26-year-old immigration officer ICO Michael Otu, who was attacked and shot by alleged smugglers in Kokoligu in the Upper West region, wants government to fast-track investigation into the incident so that the perpetrators can be brought to book. They made the call during the burial service at the AME Zion Church here in Accra.
Family members, friends and loved ones could not hold their tears during the burial service of slain 26-year-old immigration officer ICO Michael Otu at his church, AME Zion. He was shot dead by some unknown assailants in Kokoligu in the Upper West region. People from all walks of life, including security officers, paid their last respect.
That is why we can never question God when He calls you. Because He never told you the day you would die when He was sending you to this earth. Remember your Creator whilst you are strong. I'm not saying whilst you are young. Remember your Creator whilst you are strong, for we all have an assignment.
You were a true definition of love. Onyineba, you were superb and fantastic. Never in my life have I found such amazing love. Hey, a deep and erasable scar has been created in my life. When we met, you were already an officer. I supported, respected, and never resisted when duty calls. You told me you have been reassigned to Hamlet border. Although I wasn't enthused about it, but
His classmates from Accra Academy said they were deeply affected by the loss.
His enthusiastic about church was top, and he was kind, and everyone around him, he always made sure that everyone around him would be happy, and there was no way you can be sad around him. He was God-fearing, and he was hardworking too. So people, you can testify that his own fellow people were saying that he was very hardworking. Wherever he goes, he has his pen and his red pen and his blue pen. He makes sure the work is done before he can do other things. So I can say that, yeah, he was very, very hardworking, and we know that we are heartened that he's dead or something, but we know that his soul is resting in the bosom of our Maker.
Mother of the deceased, Elizabeth Otu, wants authorities to fast-track investigations into the murder of her son. It was a stranger that saw his dead body. I'm surprised that the perpetrators have still not been arrested. I'm pleading with the government to hasten investigations. All the family wants is justice. Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Immigration Service, Superintendent Michael Amakwata, says they are close to finding out those responsible for the dastardly act.
In fact, when it happened and with the initial investigation that was conducted, certain protocols have been put in place to ensure that what happened wouldn't happen again. But then a fuller picture will be gotten when the full report is submitted. Investigations, I would say we are more than halfway through what they need to do to get to a finality in what happened that led to the death of our officer. But then, it takes time to be sure that maybe bits and pieces of information from witnesses and all that can be confirmed or collaborated by other people who might have heard a gunshot or a shout or whatever. So like I said, maybe by the end of the month or the early part of next month, we may get some information from the investigators.
ICO Michael Otu was murdered while on duty on March 24 at Kokoligu, a village between Nandom and Hamile in the Upper West region.
May you so rest in perfect peace. Now to some other stories. And the citizens of Efutu are earnestly preparing towards the celebration of this year's Abacho festival as massive preparation works are ongoing. The Omahine of Efutu traditional area, Nyanyi Gate the 7th, in an interview with the Metro News, has hinted that this year's celebration will focus mainly on improving sanitation and replenishing of hunting grounds in order to preserve it for the future. Akwesiado has more in this story.
The Abacho Festival is one of the most significant festivals in Ghana. The display of rich culture and heritage of the people of Efutu is always an exciting scene to behold. But for 2 years, celebration of the festival was put on hold due to the outbreak of COVID-19. With the restrictions lifted, preparations are far advanced towards the celebration of this year's festival. Artwork on walls along various streets of Winneba, renovation of recreational centers, and cleanup exercises tidy up the town are all giving a clear indication of how the residents are anticipating to have the festival celebrated in pomp and pageantry. On the sidelines of the launch of the festival, King of Uniba, Nyanyi Gate the 7th, who spoke exclusively to Metro News, said a tree planting exercise will be held as part of this year's festive activities in order to replenish lost trees at the hunting grounds in order to preserve it for the future.
The tree planting is to repopulate the hunting grounds to secure the place for the future. We are going to showcase our culture, and I want every citizen to do his or her maximum best to show what our ancestors did, so that people who will come and witness the rich culture.
He said proceeds from a gospel rock show program, which will also be held as part of the celebrations, will be channeled into sanitation projects in the town for citizens of Winneba who will be going back to their roots, as well as lovers of culture who will visit the town during the occasion. Nyanyagate, the chief, has admonished them to put up good behavior and enjoy themselves in moderation, and also be security conscious, even though police presence will be visible.
Don't lose your mind, don't lose your temper, don't lose your controls, so that you get involved in any scuffles. People will put their hands in your pocket and take your money away, your phone, all those things. We've been experiencing this, but today we are saying it early enough, so whoever is coming will know that the teeming number of people coming have got in them people with diverse characters.
For residents, the assumption of the Abacho festival post-COVID-19 gives them resounding joy. They say they are fully prepared to observe once again their rich culture and heritage.
It has been a long-awaited festival, and so I think we are grateful to God for allowing us this time. And so I think the expectations are high, and we are doing our best to make it happen for all our people.
I feel about it. About a crab or shit. Osanda I feel being na damaya babon na beya into mezi. Adumara CCR yaba na akofom. Ama ebi ma chance of disease on afi. Enti ofi the penal base okwan na saba na bomuma.
From April 30 through to May 7, Winneba, one of the Asian towns of Ghana, will go gay as its activity celebrates the famous Abacho festival.
And some news just coming in is that 20 passengers are in critical condition and 26 injured on the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway in 2 separate accidents. And we'll bring you some more details of that in our subsequent bulletins. We're taking a break. When we come back, we've got business news, sports, entertainment, and international news. Do stay. Welcome back from the break. Up next, business news. Now, in business, Chief Executive Officer of Rehoboth Properties Limited, Gideon Aiku Akrofi, has called on government to put in place legislations and tax incentives that will empower private estate developers to assist government in bridging the gap in the housing sector. He made the call when Rehoboth Properties Limited commissioned the Rehoboth Knights Bridge Affordable Luxury Housing Community in Kwabinya. Rehoboth Properties is a leading real estate developer in Ghana. It has over the years provided quality and affordable homes to Ghanaians. The newly opened Rehoboth Knights Bridge City offers 400 units of affordable and luxurious apartments in a gated community with a swimming pool, a mall, laundry, pharmacy and internet connectivity, a tennis and basketball court, among others. Chief Executive Officer of Rehoboth Properties Limited, Gideon Aiku Akrofi, delivering the welcome address at the grand opening of the Rehoboth Knights Bridge, called on government to support estate developers with the needed legislation and tax incentives to encourage more private developers to undertake affordable housing projects.
Believe that the ideas and dreams about development of housing and how technology continues to shape our cities, homes and life are one that will go beyond this event. My pride of this event and programs will be that we continue to grow and become more and more relevant with every passing event until we have achieved success in our quest for getting the needed policy reform and necessitated the idea of constructing affordable housing.
Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, gave the assurance that the government will set up the Ghana Housing Authority, strengthen tax incentives and introduce tax waivers to bridge the 1.8 million housing deficit in Ghana.
Housing industry, as in many other economies, holds the key to the development of our country. And I'm encouraged by the role Rehoboth Properties Limited is playing to meet the enormous challenges of the industry. As government, we will continue to collaborate and create the enabling environment for the housing sector to thrive.
Former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, delivering the keynote address, emphasized the importance of the Rehoboth housing project.
This model of housing is the basis of the family. Our young people who have completed their education and have gained employment, whether in towns or cities, should be able to start life on their own without living in compound houses, which have unnecessary trappings, noises, quarrels, fightings, they say, breaking down homes even before the homes can start.
The opening of the Rehoboth Knights Bridge was graced by dignitaries from all walks of life, including academia, politics, finance, real estate, among others. Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, after all was said and done, commissioned the building.
Open official.
With over 1,000 more affordable luxury housing projects in mind, Rehoboth Properties Limited says its vision is to improve the quality of life in Ghana. Now, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council is set to partner with the Association of Ghana Industries in creating a new automotive hub in Afienya in the Greater Accra region. The RCC, led by the Regional Minister Henry Korte, made this known during a conference of investors in Accra.
According to government, the Abacho spare parts enclave is currently congested and unfit for purpose. A representative of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council outlined some components of the envisioned automotive zone for spare parts dealers of Abacho.
And there's also going to be a toll road to link those two, entities. That is the harbour and the hub. Then we have the ancillaries as well. There's obviously the need for you to have various ancillary, institutions like who will provide finance, security.
Adding to this, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte announced the creating of a new and spacious automotive hub in the Greater Accra region.
We are looking at what we call the West African Automobile Hub. The Abacho is just around the corner there. It's been there for over 30, 40 years. And that is the brain of Ghana's automobile. industry in terms of spare parts and all that. Today, they have outlived the space and their usefulness and purpose of being at Abacho Kai. As we speak, we have about 5,000 permanent shops in Abacho Kai and about 17,000 temporary businesses like tabletops. The initiative and the idea, for that matter, to create a new hub for them at Afienya. Fortunately, the RCC is talking to the Minister of Lands, and we have been assured of about 2,500 to 4,000 acres of land. We are almost done with the processes. Now, over there, we will transform the way they have done business over the last 30 years.
For his part, the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Kwesi Eyimdake, also announced plans of engaging the government on financing options for developmental projects in the city.
AGI has followed with keen interest the dynamism of the regional minister in changing our capital city. And I stated that this was birthed out of a courtesy call. And we are determined to extend our support to his vision, plans, programs to attain this set goal. We seek to engage in subsequent discourse with the mayors and the MCs to flesh out bankable projects that we can package through the private-public partnership under the Ministry of Finance to structure financing options that could assist in attaining this goal without putting burden on government, considering the various developments in the world and in the debt position of our country.
Some investors who also showed interest in projects on the Agbogbloshie land were taken on a tour. The conference, which took place at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, was under the theme, The New Phase of Greater Accra, Collaborative Cities and Private Sector Role in Achieving Accelerated Development. Shadrach Odame Ejare, Metro News, Accra.
And the Securities and Exchange Commission says it is struggling to control fraudulent investment schemes because most of them are on social media and are faceless. Speaking at a public lecture in Accra, the head of policy research at the Commission, Dr. Emmanuel Ashon, said the exchange is now compelled to engage in public education to protect people's investments.
It's very worrying because for the financial market to thrive, we need confidence and trust. And these fraudulent investment schemes, what they do is that they succeed in bringing mistrust onto the financial market so that individuals who will have genuinely invested, when they experience some of these fraudulent investment schemes, they tend to shy away and move away from the financial market. So we believe that this public awareness and public education program has enlightened attendees, and they will also go out to teach and also to educate other family members and relations about the dangers of fraudulent investment schemes and how best one can avoid and also identify fraudulent investment schemes. Always check and double check the type of investment you want to do and who the operators of these investments are. Are they licensed by the regulators? Where do they operate from? Check and convince yourself before you commit your funds. If the rate promised are too good to be true and too high, you are advised to think twice before you commit your funds. Basic, use the T-bill rate as a benchmark to compare promised return. And if the promised return are too high than the T-bill rate, it is most possible it is a fraudulent investment scheme, and you are hence advised to move away from.
And that's all for business. Up next, we do sports. And in sports, we do match day 26 of the Ghana Premier League. And on Friday, Accra Hearts of Oak defeated Accra Lions by 3-0. And yesterday, it was Ash Gold that defeated Great Olympics by a lone goal at the Accra Sports Stadium. Today, it is Bechem United playing against Kerala United, and Adriana Stars will travel away to Brekum Chelsea. Mediama will play home to Wafa, and Asante Kotoko will play Legon Cities at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Elmina Sharks will play RTU. 11 Wonders would move to BBNE and play Gold Stars, and Dreams FC will play against King Faisal. Up next is international news. And at least 50 people have been killed in southern Nigeria in an explosion at an illegal oil refinery. The authorities have said dozens of people were thought to have been working at the refining plant when they were caught in the huge fire. Many were burnt beyond recognition. High levels of poverty and unemployment have made illegal oil refining an attractive business for many residents of the oil-rich communities in southern Nigeria. The death toll could rise, with one local official saying that emergency workers had recovered at least 80 badly burnt bodies at the scene. And that's all for the bulletin this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Desmond Okwekudans. We'll be back at 7 with News Nights. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye.